What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Real Talk, the #1 real estate podcast in New Jersey. And we are breaking all barriers, not just real estate. We're talking business, we're talking finance, we're talking pop culture, we're talking politics. We're hitting everything that matters. So, Selena, what's going on?
What's up, guys? I'm back.
She's back, of course. You guys all knew she was coming back, obviously, after the raving reviews we got on last week's episode. Is that filming? All right, so Selena, let's start out. How's your week going? What's going on? How's business been since the last podcast? What's new?
My week is going okay, not too bad. I can't complain. There's nothing necessarily.
Be honest.
I guess I can't say there's nothing new, but it's funny because we were talking about deals and my clients that I'm dealing with now. And we were talking about how I had a deal that was just accepted in application.
I know, we spoke a little too soon.
And it fell through just like that. So
happens to the best of us.
That, and then I had a second deal that just fell through also over the weekend. So I'm kind of, a little bit upset about it, but I have not lost any motivation at all.
I hope not. It's I know it's hard. Like that's why I want to talk about it.
It did break me a little bit inside.
Yeah, I know. You're learning, but I mean, like, that's trial by fire, they say, right? That's the saying.
Trial by fire?
Trial by fire. Like, you're getting burned, but you're learning. You're getting some experience. You're getting used to the ups and downs. And that's a lot of real estate. It's, you especially right now, the market is so crazy that, you have to move very quickly, and there's a lot of competition. But you've been dealing with all the rentals, and it's just been, to put it lightly, a shitstorm.
Yeah.
I feel like for you.
So, to put it lightly.
Yeah. So what's the status on some of your deals now? Like how are things coming together?
I mean, I'm still, I feel like when it comes to the rental situation, like we were talking about how big of a variety I have with the clientele in the rental field I have.
Right.
So, I mean, we are looking for, other homes in the process now since some things have fallen through. Clients are back and forth with their decision making. We're still looking. So, hopefully I can write up something tonight.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll get accepted on Monday, Friday.
Tomorrow.
I have some things. Yeah, I have some responses that are like lined up and waiting. So that actually, that kind of brings me to want to talk about waiting on decision making, landlords or even, like sellers, like, patience, but what's too long to wait, especially in a market like this.
For rentals?
For rentals.
You're asking?
Yeah.
I would say, you put a rental in. It's definitely very nerve-wracking, especially the situations that you're dealing with where you have the agent telling you, we have more showings, we're expecting more applications, wait until Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, and you have a client who needs to get moved in by December 1st. I don't know if your clients do, but there are situations like that. And it can be very nerve-wracking. And I think that the difference between an offer and a rental, a lease application, is that it's not that bad to keep looking for your client, to have backup options, especially because it is so competitive. I didn't realize how I knew the market for buying and selling was very competitive and things are flying off and there's bidding wars, but I did not realize how crazy the rental market is. It's the same thing basically, but they move even quicker because they are quicker closings.
Yeah.
And, people are putting up more money now, over asking price for rentals and things like that. And, offering to put down multiple months ahead of time just to get in those properties, which is insane. So I would say, give, the landlord maybe like 24 hours to review it. If they're waiting on other lease applications, there's nothing you can really do about that because obviously, the agent has the landlord's best intentions in mind and wants to wait to see, what if there's maybe a candidate with better credit or better salary. Not even that you're getting outbid, but just somebody who's more qualified. They always want to get the most qualified tenant, obviously, somebody that's going to be good for long term. So, I would say like in a situation like that one where, they're waiting on other lease applications, I would say just keep looking, keep having backups in mind. And it doesn't hurt, if your lease application is not accepted, it doesn't hurt to be looking.
Okay.
I would say.
So that kind of brings me to my next thing.
Yeah.
When it comes, like when it comes to being aggressive or assertive, perhaps, if that's a better word.
Yeah.
Because I deal with clients now, and actually it's kind of on both sides. So, like the waiting game, waiting for the decision, right? And you're not necessarily sure, like, okay, what if there's not a list of people?
What if they're just trying to bluff you, you're saying?
What if they're just trying to bluff?
Okay.
You have a listing agent who, like I have a client who feels like the listing agent is more out for themselves and dual ending the transaction than they actually are in having, a buyer's agent or tenant agent their best interest.
Yeah.
How can you be assertive? Because with me, I want to stay professional, right? But being assertive and aggressive, I feel like is definitely a big part of this game.
Yeah.
So it's like how?
I would say always have your client's best interest in mind. Always have your tenant, if you're representing the tenant or the buyer, whatever the scenario is, always have their interest, on top of your mind. But never be too assertive to the point where you're risking everything for them, especially if it's a house they really like. You have to be assertive in the way that, put pressure. It's all about putting pressure on the agent. If you're waiting for a decision, if the 2 points you said, somebody who maybe has a client of their own and are trying to dual end the deal versus somebody who's just trying to get you to outbid yourself. Those are two separate issues, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
For the person who is trying to outbid you themselves, I would say, be asking a lot of questions. Put that agent on the spot. Be like I told you, say like, are there other people? Who are we outbidding somebody? Are there other leases on the table that your landlord is entertaining? In the situation for dual ending, it's a little different. That's where it gets a little weird, and you can never really tell their intentions. But that's just not ethical practice on their part if that's the case. So it's kind of out of your control how much because they obviously know more if they're dual ending the deal. But you have to just hold your ground. Put pressure on the agent, be very on top of it, all day, a couple times a day if need be, and just putting that pressure on them, asking questions. What's going on? Is there an answer? Are there other lease applications on the table? Am I outbidding myself? How long do you think your landlord's going to take? My client's very interested. They want to lock this down. If we don't have an answer, they're going to keep looking. And that's something you can say, but, you don't want to say that unless you have other options. You don't want to put it in a position where the agent gets agitated with you, then you lose the deal. So you have to, it's all about keeping your composure and just, it's very professional to be on top of them and to be asking them important questions without getting aggressive or assertive, because you're just showing that you know the business and you have your client's interests.
Yeah. Because I feel like me in general as a person, if, I feel like, a lot of the times I am pretty patient with things, or I'm very, low-key, standoffish. So I mean me for being aggressive, right? I guess sometimes when it really counts, but right. I feel like when someone is telling me that I have until this day, I kind of just fall back and just let it be. And I don't think that that's like the best thing, is just to fall back and just
right
potentially let something slide.
Right.
Me not knowing that it was in my hands to be assertive about it,
right,
and make the deal happen. I don't know if that's ever happened to me so far since being in this, but I always try to go through you and be like, okay, should I call, should I text, what should I say, how do I answer this?
Yeah, it's, you're learning, you're new, so like I feel like it's not so much of when to get aggressive or not that you're having a problem with. It's kind of like the situations, and there's a lot of different situations, I feel like, and it's good to ask somebody like me, Lawrence, our brokers, Gina. Like I ask Gina questions all the time, how to handle different situations. It's the same thing. And as you've come into these situations more, and after like doing a couple of rentals, you're gonna know exactly what you need to do, and you're gonna know the exact type of personality you're dealing with on the other end of the phone when you want to be more pushy versus some people might want you to be completely laid back and like hands off,
Yeah.
and then that's the type of how they like, that's their language.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about just reading the situation, and as you do more of them, you're gonna get more comfortable. You're gonna know the dialogue, and I really think that's it. I don't think it's gonna be an issue for you.
Too much of a science.
Yeah, no.
Gotcha.
But I know it's been stressful because it's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of back and forth, and you don't know if the lease got accepted. And you had one client we could talk about. I don't know if you want to go into detail about it without giving away who it is. But you had one client who told you that they got accepted, that they spoke to the landlord directly.
Oh, yeah.
And then we found out that it wasn't accepted.
Right.
And then it was, and then it wasn't.
Right.
Which is pretty crazy. So that's something we learned. Let's talk about that. Section 8.
Mm-hmm.
What's the legal thing that you learned about last week?
Well, it sucks because, regardless of whatever legal advice that side got, the listing side got, I still like to get my own advice, and I have yet to get that. So you don't want to just
say it for sure.
I really don't want to say it for sure.
Yeah, we need to ask somebody who knows a lot about Section 8 because it sounds correct.
Because I've been doing some research on it, and I have yet to see anything that actually goes against that.
Right.
But I'd still rather get like the professional advice on it because I really don't know what the truth is. I feel like the situation was that my Section 8 client got accepted through speaking to the landlord themselves.
Right.
I tried to get her foot in the door. The landlord was going to go with someone else, and I worked to get her foot in the door.
Really hard.
Because thank God, the listing agent was also obviously helping, make it work.
Yeah.
All of us, it's been everyone's first time doing Section 8. The landlord, the listing agent, myself, except for my client. So, you're allotted a certain amount for the rent.
Right.
And then if there's a difference like over, like say a $400 difference on a $1,900 rental, and you only get, what is that, $1,600, $1,500?
Right.
Allotted to you, you can, somewhat maybe write a separate agreement
to pay the difference.
And that separate agreement is, for the most part, under the table. That's between the landlord and the tenant. And I feel like.
What do you mean by under the table, though?
Under the table, it's not allotted by the state. The state doesn't know.
Right,
about
but
this.
it's not. It's still like it would still be a legal binding.
It's still a legal binding
agreement.
Document, right?
Okay.
Exactly. I mean, technically, I guess you can if you were like in a court case, you can use it because I've watched a lot of Judge Judy, but who's to say? I'm no attorney here. But I feel like you can do something like that. It's just as simple as an agreement goes. But apparently it's not legal to do those separate agreements.
Right. So the landlord's attorney advised him that it's illegal to accept money separate from a Section 8, so they cannot pay the difference. Is basically where we were at with that.
Right. And so we lost it.
I know.
Because the landlord, wanted to listen to his attorney.
And how much over was it?
It was about $440.
It's a big chunk.
It's a chunk.
Yeah, it's a big chunk. It's hard because if it's like a scenario where it's like a $2,250 rental, it's $50 over. Hopefully, you get a landlord where he has some wiggle room with that. Because usually, Section 8, they have a bad rep. I feel like Section 8. You hear Section 8, you have a bad rep. But that's a tenant that has a guaranteed money, from the state, from the government. So. And
I'm still working for this tenant. I'm still trying to find her a place.
Yeah.
It's crazy because in this real estate world, there's so much information. Everyone specializes in different things, being an agent, and not everyone is familiar with everything.
Yeah.
And I like to be that person who's familiar, who's had their, who's dipped in everything to have some kind of information.
Yeah.
But there's something that you learn every day in this business.
For sure.
And a lot of listing agents do not know about it. So I'm just like you. Now you're dealing with a Section 8. I'm educating you. I've been on phone calls with listing agents. I've been educating them.
Yeah.
We've been talking about, how valid is a credit score if you have Section 8.
Right.
Someone might use that as an objective kind of thing.
But how valid is the credit score is all just hypothetical either way, because even if you have a person who's not Section 8 and makes $500,000 a year but has horrible credit,
Right.
The landlord, it's all up to the landlord either way.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not a deadlocked deciding factor. The landlord really makes the decision ultimately. And like I said, I personally don't think it matters what their credit score is if they're Section 8, because obviously they're struggling. They're getting money from the state for rent.
Right.
So I assume that their credit's not going to be good.
Yeah. And
they're getting the voucher so the money, there's no problem with the money.
Exactly. So it's like, how can you judge someone based off of that if there's no problem with the money?
Right. And the biggest issue that people look for on the credit score when it comes to rentals is delinquent payments. That will never be an issue because the money's going straight from the state to the landlord. So
yeah,
I don't think it really makes sense why that would be a deciding factor.
So I feel like if it, I don't think exactly. I really don't think it's a law to where you have to have perfect or great, excellent credit score. I think that more listing agents, whoever listens to this and watches this, I think more listing agents need to take into their minds that if you're giving the advice to your landlord, or if your landlord wants the perfect credit, I think you should be trying to help them understand that the credit really doesn't matter in this case.
That's what I think, but I'm still learning, obviously, so I could be wrong. But that's why, I think it's good, the rental listing that I have, and now I'm working with Section 8 by tenants to dual end it. I am now learning Section 8 from the inside out. I'm going to have to go through the entire process from both sides, representing the landlord and representing a Section 8er. So I think it's honestly good that I got involved in that, because now I will know the entire process from both angles, so I can teach you guys and teach anybody new who comes in the office who needs help with Section 8. I will now have that experience. Yeah. Going through that. Yeah. So I feel like everything we're talking about is probably going above everybody's head. We're getting so deep into like rental technicalities of Section 8. I guarantee you, a majority of agents don't even know what we're talking about.
Well,
we'll learn.
Well, learn. Now's the time to learn.
Do some charity work for people. You greedy bastards. All right. So all the stress going on throughout the week. Let's get away from real estate for a second, and let's talk about how do you de-stress in your life, because I know how you do it. So let's talk about your methods for de-stressing. So you can give some input to people in any career path who have a stressful business day and want to just find little escapes or ways to calm themselves down. Take a deep breath, everybody. Welcome to the ASMR Real Estate Show.
So I think the first thing
all right
that people should do or try to look into.
I love how you're talking so calmly now. You took that deep breath and now you're just like, I think the first thing people should do is
Okay, well maybe you can't take my advice exactly.
No, we can. You're I feel like you're an expert in this field, so
wow, that's a big compliment. Okay, so meditate people. I think that a lot of people don't know, and I said this in the last time we spoke.
Well, explain what you mean by meditating, because people have different definitions.
So yes, I was getting to that, right? So
sorry, I cut you off.
No. Sitting still and really focusing on sitting still. So I use a great app. I don't know if I should say it, because then I'll be telling you guys literally every little detail about my life.
Don't tell them. Maybe we can get a sponsorship next episode.
Maybe we can get so I use this app and it has like 1 million it's guided meditation. So it has a lot of, you can do like sleep meditations, you can do stress meditations, 5-minute anxiety relief meditations. It's a lot of guided meditation that I do.
Yeah.
Just sitting still, relaxing, taking plenty deep breaths. It really does work. I mean, it's scientifically proven.
Right. Just
you get oxygen into your body. Oxygen starts to flow to your brain. If you just, put everything on pause, and you can even take as little as a 5-minute meditation, you can really come on the other side of that completely serene. So I used to meditate every day. I also used to listen to sound bath. I still listen to sound bath. I still do these things, but just not as consistently as I used to.
Right.
Just, like after you've been meditating for a while, you're able to literally just sit and watch thoughts just go past, like, and just be completely calm.
Right.
And, you know, with COVID especially too, like, we all found hobbies. Like, I started to color. They say using
coloring books, yeah.
Yeah. They say to use your non-dominant hand with your dominant hand to color so that you can actually stimulate the opposite side of your brain. It helps with emotional releases and things like that.
Interesting. So, yeah, so this is different type of meditation than a lot of people are used to. This is more of just like calming yourself down, taking deep breaths. It's like, you know, it's healthy and it's just like proven, versus some people are into meditation where it's like yoga and like clearing your mind. Yeah,
I've done yoga. Yoga's really good too.
I'm more into the first, what we were talking about before, which is just taking deep breaths, kind of just relaxing yourself.
Like, we all deal with stresses like everywhere, like at home, at work, with friends, whatever. So I feel like really taking the time to look for what calms you down and takes you out of those high energy points is really like what's going to work for you. Like, I just got a fish tank. I stared at the fish for like 30 minutes yesterday. Like, I was good.
That's ridiculous. See, I'm the opposite though. So I feel like a lot of people are like, you know, when I have a really hectic work day or life, I need alone time to myself. I need to be alone.
Absolutely.
And I'm the opposite. I feel like I need to be extroverted and be around people and like be in almost in like a party atmosphere.
Take it away. It's a distraction.
To kind of get away. Yeah, it's like exactly. But that sounds unhealthy when I explain it.
It's unhealthy because the reason I've done a lot of like inner work this year. It's unhealthy because you're not actually dealing with yourself in those moments.
Right.
You're using things to take you away. They're temporary highs. You're not actually dealing with how to treat yourself.
That's so true.
So it's not, I can't say it's necessarily healthy. But does it, I think, you know, like for me, like once I've like learned myself better and I do distractions, excuse me, then you can use those distractions to help you out. But if you don't really know how to help yourself outside of those distractions, then it kind of just becomes like an addictive thing.
Right.
So, I mean, we all drink. I like to grab a glass of wine, unwind.
Yeah, and that could be a bandage to help you, you know, because they say that like it's an escape from reality, but like I don't know, I can't explain it when I'm trying to think, but it's like, you know, it's you don't want to escape from reality. You just need to have a peaceful moment in reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like taking time to yourself, alone, sober,
nature walks,
having deep breaths, like doing all those exercises, things like that are healthy and natural for yourself, versus an escape from reality where you're literally, you know, like paralyzing yourself almost, like putting yourself out. And you know, you're not actually taking time to really think about what's going on and process it and kind of like take a step back.
Right. Exactly. So I think
get unhealthy.
I think, you know, sometimes, you know, you have to be able to catch yourself in those moments when you're at your boiling point. Like the other day, I was irritable with absolutely everyone and everything. And like I said, I don't meditate every day anymore. So I thought at the end of the day, you know what? Let me go into my room, just take 10 minutes and meditate. Yeah. And after that, I was okay.
Yeah.
So it's good to know yourself and how you can basically heal yourself in those moments and then get back to real life so that you can go back to, you know, work and your family and whatever else.
Right. So now to get back to real life, I have some beef to pick with you. I have a bone to pick with you. That's the saying. Time blocking. Time blocking, Selena.
Let's get into it.
So I, for the last probably 2 weeks, have tried to get Selena on a time blocking schedule.
Not true.
At least a week.
Okay, fine. We're going to go with a week.
We've talked about it.
We missed the whole week because we were doing other stuff.
What were we doing?
I don't know.
Not time blocking.
You definitely.
That's for sure.
That one weekend, I was so upset. Like we were gonna do it, and we just didn't do it that whole week.
Weekend. Yeah,
the one weekend I came over on Saturday on a Saturday. We were like, we're gonna do time blocking on Monday.
Oh yeah.
And that whole week we didn't do it. That was 2 weeks ago.
I gave you the schedule. So
yeah, that was just the other day.
I just want to stress how important the time blocking is because I said it to you a million times, but I'll say it on the podcast because they haven't heard it. Maybe they haven't. If you don't time block, your schedule gets out of control and you will get so much less done. You'll be scatterbrained. You'll be spread too thin, running around like crazy. If you don't control your schedule, then your clients will control your schedule and you will not get any work done.
Agreed.
Which ends up happening. And it's not anything bad or like a put down. Like it happens to the best of us. Like you have a client over here ask you to do this. You have a showing out this time. They can only do 9 a.m. and then you have to write up a lease and you get all, it's crazy. It's hard to keep things in time block. But
it's very good to just to simplify that is just setting boundaries. That's what it is,
Yeah.
Because I have agents who are, I have clients who are texting me at 11 at night.
That ties into what we're talking about, your personal health and your mental health, because you're then exasperating yourself to the point where you're just trying to make everybody happy and run around and you have no boundaries where you're like, no, I actually cannot do appointments at this time. Like I have something set aside for that, This is my time, or this is time that I put aside for something specific in my business. So it's important to have that structure. I mean, like anything, even though it's, real estate is a business that we control and we make our own hours, but in anything in life that's good, you have to have some type of structure to it. Otherwise, it's not going to be fun and it's not going to go well and be smooth.
Right.
So
totally agreed.
This right here is a live call out. The entire audience podcast. I swear to everything I love and know that every viewer, even if we have 20 viewers on this episode, every single viewer on YouTube, I want them to comment below and be like, Selena, what's going on with your time blocking? Because we're going to follow up with this next week.
Okay.
So comment on the video. If you don't comment and you watch it, I will hunt you down. I will find you. So comment below. So that
if you don't comment?
Yeah, if you don't comment. Yeah, I'll comment it. So comment below so that we remember next week to go over that. So that's that.
Okay. Yeah, it's no problem. I mean, I'm a big person on boundaries in real life outside of work.
Yeah.
So this is, not going to be something that I can't do.
Well, you haven't done yet, so we'll see.
No, I can do it. Yesterday, I think I did time blocking for one day. I think that was yesterday, if not the day before.
Did you?
And I felt good.
Where was I yesterday? I don't remember.
I don't know. You were not here. That's probably because I don't remember you.
Yeah, I was here all day.
Where was I then?
I was here all day till 3 o'clock.
Okay, then. No.
Oh, no, I ran out.
You left.
My
yes,
phone.
you see.
Oh,
you were gone for 2 hours.
I was gone.
So it was the day before that. I did definitely do time blocking, and it felt good because I was not answering anyone's text messages who were not relevant for those times. And it felt good.
Yeah.
I love setting boundaries.
It's hard though because it feels good for you, but I'm the type where like I see a text message and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, no, I feel like that too.
I want to check this right now.
I feel like that too, but it feels even better for me to ignore it.
Really? Wow.
Not because I'm a bad agent.
That's some like domination, like that you like enjoy inside of you. Like, you know what? I'm gonna let this person wait 3 hours.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't do it because I really don't do it because I'm an asshole, but I just do it because my mental health is more important than they can wait.
Not even mental health, just your business.
My
your
business
time.
is my time, like everything, I don't want to be anxious because someone is texting me 6 times in a row, sending me this, that, and the third.
Right.
So.
Because then it becomes a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah, like now, because then what ends up happening is now I've been answering them all day, distracted. Next thing I know, 4 hours have gone by and I've just been focusing on 1, 2, 3 people.
Right. And then not building any new business.
Not building any new business.
Right.
So.
What else we got to talk about? What do you got for us? Because Selena's got some topics she wants to talk about.
Well, wait a second.
What?
I wanted to know.
Yeah, tell me.
Let's talk about it because it's actually it's written on here. I didn't write it. And I didn't write it.
All right, what is it?
You wrote it.
I don't have my computer here.
Overpriced listings. Is all publicity good?
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about that. So I put on there, you've heard the saying, is all publicity good publicity?
Nope.
You've heard that, right?
I have.
So I figured this is a perfect comparison for should you take overpriced listings?
Mm-hmm.
Because on one side of the table, people say take the overpriced listing, especially if you're a new agent, because it's going to get your foot out there. If it's on a busy street, especially, you get your sign there. I hear this all the time. If it's a busy street, you get your sign out there. You're going to get calls from buyers. You're going to get calls from other people in the neighborhood. And also, you can get leads by running it through Facebook ads, open houses. You can get buyer leads, all that good stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Versus, does it look bad? Does it take a listing that's way overpriced? Does it look unprofessional? Is your client affected by that? Even if you tell, if you do or don't tell them that it's overpriced, and then it sits on the market and then it expires. Mm-hmm. So those are the pros and cons of both sides. So what do you think? Because it's the same type of conversation, bad publicity, like an overpriced listing.
I feel like, this is easier for me to probably say only because I have not dealt with sellers yet.
Yeah.
From the outside,
I cannot wait.
From the outside looking in, I feel like you have to really, of course, you want to get the listing that's big. You're going to sell yourself. But I feel like still here comes boundaries tying into it. If you're going to do something that's negatively affecting you, right? Like the things that you just listed, something that's overpriced, something that's sitting. Okay, how long are you going to let that sit before you say, okay, it's time for me to move on to the next because this is not working out? I think while you still have the juice, urban dictionary, while you still have the juice, right, you should back out of that before it becomes a negative thing for you.
How could it become negative though for a listing, for that example?
Because you just like you explained, you build like a reputation for holding, irrational, for dealing with irrational, sellers who want to overprice.
Right. But, okay, yeah, I agree 100%. That's what I'm saying. The only negative connotation is from other agents. Mm-hmm. Because if you tell your client you're way overpriced, but we can list it and see what happens, or we'll try. And you're like, I'll put it on the market. I'm spending a little bit of money on marketing, whatever you're spending, and that's it. I'm not going to go crazy because we already know it's overpriced. Mm-hmm. Doing this type of marketing, and I'm going to get some buyer leads from it. There's no other negatives besides how you appear to your colleagues. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about that?
Well, what's negative? What's negative?
Other agents would, look at you and be like, wow, he took this, it's way overpriced, like it's never going to sell. It's a waste of time and energy, those types of things. But,
I think it depends on the pattern.
On both sides.
I think it depends on the pattern. Like, how often do you do this?
Right. It's very common. Like, when I first started, I took a bunch of listings that were overpriced.
Right.
And, you deal with that. You deal with whatever you can get.
But how did that turn out? Did they close? How many of them closed? A ratio, 2 to 1?
I don't know. I would probably say like 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's so bad.
And like, definitely got my name out there. Definitely got some notoriety. Definitely was able to, use that to like get other listings by like calling areas and saying, hey, we're selling this house on the street. We're getting some buyers from it. Are you thinking about selling? So like, I feel like there's a lot of tools. It's almost like taking a bad situation and using it for good purposes, like figuring out how I can benefit from something that maybe might be a little bit of a burden.
Right.
So I think all publicity is good publicity.
Do you? I guess I feel like, if like I said, if you create a pattern and this is all you take, or like if you're you become like the discount brokerage.
You don't. Yeah. Let me say this to follow up that statement. This is not something that I'm speaking for like new agents, and it's very situational. Okay. This is not something that should be a long-term occurrence, because if you're not a new agent and if you have business and you're comfortable, there is no need to take listings that are overpriced, and you should be able to go in there confidently and present your value, saying, listen, I'm not going to work with a client who's unrealistic about this price point. As much as I want to help you out, it doesn't make any sense. It's not going to sell at this price. So it does come to a point where you can get firmer. Mm-hmm. I was a young agent. I kind of understand that perspective because I was there, brand new, trying to get some listings. But I think that as you grow out of it, it makes sense to graduate from that.
So then if you're a new agent, then why not do it?
Exactly.
So I think it works then, if that's the case.
Yeah. That's why think about like celebrities, rappers, YouTube stars, whatever. They do crazy things, and sometimes it's like, oh my god, I can't believe he did this. Like that's horrible, but like it gets everybody talking about you.
It does.
And then they come up. Maybe it's the first time you heard about this person because it's something so crazy. You're like, did you hear about this? And it's like, they just broke the surface.
Well, as long as we're not talking about the kind of publicity where it is scandalous for an agent.
I mean, not for real estate. It was just a comparison.
No, but for real estate, you can take the equivalent.
No, I was just comparing, publicity to listings. I don't know. A weird thing in my mind I just came up with.
But yeah, I guess for me as a new agent, why not? If it does bring me something, it's going to bring me something. Exactly. Like I'm guaranteed to get something out of it.
Right. And then, you kind of have a little more, if you're a new agent, you kind of have a little more wiggle room too. Cause you're like, this listing's not going to sell right away. So I kind of have time to figure out like how to market it, photos, the listing process, it's less pressure too. Right. Unless the client's like, we need to sell this price. So,
right.
It's very situational.
Okay.
But that's my 2 cents on that.
All right, cool. So then, last thing of lasts.
Last thing of last? Okay.
Last thing of last. All right, so let's talk about Netflix.
All right, this is your topic. So
this is my topic.
Let me hear what you got to say about it.
Oh shoot.
You wrote it on the document.
I did, but I kind of wanted to step away. Yeah, I wanted to step away.
Selena came prepared this time, and also this time we're not using her phone, so
And so for the technical difficulty we just had, we're not. Not this time. We had a technical difficulty.
Yeah, the only reason we had a technical difficulty is because of our sound guy, Matt Greco, behind the screen. We need to get you a mic. I have a USB mic. We should have plugged it in because that was his fault this time, not my fault. My technology is working well.
Well, all right.
Let's hear my Netflix, though.
So what are you watching on Netflix right now?
I don't have time to watch TV, Selena. I work.
Oh my gosh.
24/7. Hustle. #grind. #Gary V.
All right.
No, I'm kidding. Netflix. I was watching the new American Horror Story.
Oh, I still haven't watched that.
It's pretty horrible. It's like 1980s like horror. Like it's supposed to be like corny. Like we're going into a cabin in the woods for summer camp, and there's a killer on the loose. Yeah.
Oh,
but they take their own weird spin on it like they always do.
So let's talk about it then, because I have a huge respect for AHS.
Yeah. First episode was super corny, and I was like, I can predict everything that's going on right now, like any other like horror movie from like the 80s. And then I was like, where are they going to go with this series after the first episode? Because they kind of like spelt out the entire story, which I think they did purposely to be like funny, because obviously there's more episodes, and then it started taking weird dark twists, and like all these characters were being added in layers like they always do. So I'm sure if I finished it would be good, but I didn't get that far.
Which one was your favorite season?
Asylum.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
AHS is so great. I love that series.
What's your favorite season?
I've been trying to watch the very first season, but I haven't been able to get around to it. And now that October is past, you haven't watched any of them? I've watched the first season. I've watched second, third.
Asylum, right?
I watched the one when they were in New Orleans with the witches. The witches. I forgot which.
New Orleans.
What it was called.
Coven?
Yeah. Is that what it was?
Or whatever.
Coven? Isn't Coven like witch?
Yeah.
Language?
They live in a house.
So it probably was, yeah.
Like all the girls live in a house together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch that one. I think I stopped in 2016 when the whole Trump election was happening.
They did what is it?
Because they did a season based off of that.
What is it called?
Cult?
That was the election season, yeah.
Yeah, that's when I stopped watching.
Watch that either.
It was getting to be too much.
I've heard the last like couple ones, like Roanoke, which is like the Indian
haven't watched
tribe. It's like based on that.
Okay.
I heard that one wasn't a good season. I heard the cult one with the politics wasn't a good season. And then they have the one Apocalypse, the end of the world. I saw a couple episodes, and it was honestly so boring.
So what do we think is the future for AHS then?
Let's not talk about this. What are you watching? What are you watching currently? Real quick, actually, I could tell you the future of AHS. They announced that they're putting out a new season where it's 16 episodes, and each episode is its own story based on a urban legend.
Oh, so let's go. So it's gonna give Black Mirror vibes.
Right. Each episode is its own story but based on urban legends. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get like a Bigfoot episode.
That sounds pretty dope.
Maybe we'll get the Jersey Devil episode for Jersey.
I would definitely watch that.
That could be interesting, I think. Mm-hmm. All right. So what are you watching on the Netflix? Or anywhere on it?
At the moment, I am currently watching comedy. I've been doing like a lot of, I don't know why. Sometimes I get on these little binges. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of, watching a lot of Dave Chappelle.
I know. You come in the office and their phone is playing it sometimes. I'm like, what are you watching on the drive over here?
No. I do it when I'm doing my hair.
Wait, so how does it
So I may listen to the audio on the drive over here. I may, but or I'll just like.
I always hear it when you walk in.
When I bring my phone in, Yeah. It'll just be on.
Just like Dave Chappelle's just 24/7 in your head going.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle. I've been like, it's crazy. It's so weird because I'm not really like a big TV watcher myself.
Have you watched his stand-up? I told you about.
Yes. Which one?
Sticks and Stones.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I did.
What did you think about it?
I thought it was just like any other stand-up he's done.
It was so good though.
Yeah, it was.
Because it's current.
Right. Yeah. Right. I don't think there's. I think Dave Chappelle is like the coolest guy ever. He's a good intellect with the funny added to it. But
what other comedies have you been watching?
This morning I watched Kevin Hart's stand-up.
New?
It's the newest one.
Good.
Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I haven't watched stand-up in a while. I gotta watch some new ones. I haven't seen any good like new ones on Netflix.
Well, the newest one is Kevin Hart's, so watch it. It's number 2.
It's worth my watch, though.
10.
Like you enjoyed it, like actually. Give me your honest
it wasn't.
opinion.
I mean, like I think that he's had funnier stand-ups.
Wow,
it's crazy.
You might be watching right now.
It's crazy, and I really hate to say, I'm not trying to come down on Kevin Hart at all because I fully respect him. But I feel like after watching some stand-ups and comedy, you can tell what's like fabricated and what's actually genuine, like what really happened.
I feel like some of these comedians get too big, and like he's hanging out with The Rock all the time. They're doing movies. It's probably a lot of fabricated stuff. They're in action movies together. You know what I mean? Like I can't watch a Kevin Hart and The Rock movie and take it seriously, or think it's a good film in any way. So
you did watch Jumanji?
No, I would never watch that. I saw the trailer and I was like, this is gonna be so bad.
I could not stay focused whatsoever.
It's just it's the type of movie that it's like, it sounds so like indie of me to say this, but like it's just like pumped out by Hollywood. It's just like it's an action movie, boom boom, explosions. Let's have like funny parts here, like a punchline here,
so crazy,
kid joke here, adult joke here. Like it's just like pumped out. It's not like an actual film where it's like a storyline that you're invested in.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I feel like we haven't gotten like real good original comedies in a while. Movies, like Super Bad,
like the classics, yeah,
right,
80s, 90s, and early 2000s pumped out like a bunch of classic comedies.
Even like The Hangover, like we were all, I don't know about you, but I was dying when that movie came out. That was a great movie.
I probably saw it years after it came out.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were a late bloomer.
I was definitely more into like thrillers and like dramas when I was younger.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so my favorite genre of scary movies is scary movies. I said
your favorite genre of scary movies is scary movies.
Said it twice because I love them so much.
Your favorite genre
scary
of movies are scary movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Horror.
But I've been I was getting a little bit too paranoid and scared about life, watching it too much. It was taking over my energy.
Were you watching like Final Destination? What are you watching?
I was watching, in the month of October, I was watching a scary movie literally every night. Yeah. And that's like right before I go to sleep.
It's not good for your psyche. Like
it's not.
You're very counterproductive. You're like, I'm breathing over here. I'm trying to calm down. I'm trying to calm myself down. And then you're watching like jump scare movies and Paranormal Activity.
Yeah. It was getting to be too much. So that's why like right now I've been watching a lot of like comedies and things that make me laugh in the morning.
Gotta mix it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Start my day off.
Listen to some funny podcasts too. That's what I do.
Funny podcasts?
Yeah, a lot of comedians have podcasts.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. Actually,
all the time.
I listen to three, I think. Yeah.
I can't believe you're a host of a podcast and you don't listen to any podcasts. This is just so
it's funny because I feel like a lot of podcasts, podcast hosts don't listen to other podcasts. I feel like they do.
I feel like they do, but maybe we're just listening to different podcasts. Well, we definitely are.
We probably are.
Yeah. All right, we better wrap this up though, because you have an appointment to go to, and it's 5:00. It's after 5. So yeah, you want to tell us about that real quick? What are you doing? Where are you going?
I'm going to. Should I say the town?
No.
Oh my gosh.
You're always giving away locations. People are gonna find you.
So I'm going to a duplex to show that. Again,
for a rental.
It is for a rental.
Nice.
And I feel I don't know why I have a good. It's 28 for that rental. It's a 4-bedroom.
Solid.
Yeah, duplex. It has a garage.
Is this Section 8 or not?
It's not.
Cool.
And it seems like I don't know why I have a good feeling about this one, because the landlord is very motivated and open.
No other applications on the table.
It just came on the market, so.
Oh, okay.
We're fresh in it.
All right. Well, we wish you luck.
Thank
Podcast audience, wish her luck. We're wrapping up here, so we will see you guys next week as usual. We're gonna keep pumping these out every single week. I feel like we had a really good episode. We had some good topics this time.
Yeah.
Good conversation, good topics.
Hopefully, we can bring a surprise guest.
Yeah, Tommy boy. Let's call him out right now.
Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy wants to be part of the podcast so bad, but cancels every single time. He's never here. He can never show up. He leaves he's like, oh, gotta go. 20 minutes before we're ready to film. Every time.
We wish Tom Clancy you could have been here.
I think he's scared. I think he's intimidated of the podcast.
I don't know. For what reason?
I don't know.
For why?
I have no idea.
He says he's a busy man, but
yeah, sure he is.
Hopefully we'll see him. Hopefully you guys will see him.
Sailing, wine tasting, on a yacht, playing golf.
On a yacht playing golf.
Bocce ball, maybe.
It sounds like him.
White sports. All right. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, comment for Selena's accountability next week. Remember that.
Shoot.
Also, comment if there's any topics you guys want us to discuss as we're venturing into other topics besides real estate. But yeah, like and subscribe. It really helps out. If you're watching on Spotify, make sure to follow. And if you're watching on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review so we get pushed up. We want to be #1 on the podcast charts.
Hey. All right.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.
Peace out.